Imagine never having to answer another phone call manually. No more juggling schedules or answering repetitive questions. If you're a business owner ready to fully automate your calls, this video will show you how to create an AI-powered dental receptionist capable of booking appointments into Google Calendar and fielding service-related inquiries. If you haven't yet experienced these AI voice agents, here is a quick demo of what we will be building in this video. Hey, you'd like to book an appointment for tomorrow, just like a regular checkup?
Sure, I can help you with that. Could you please provide me with your name, email, and the time you'd prefer for your appointment tomorrow?
Yeah, my name is Brendan, and my email is brendanj@gmail.com.
Thanks, Brendan.
I've built advanced AI voice agents for industries ranging from home services to real estate, managing both inbound and outbound calls at scale. These systems save hours of time, drastically increasing efficiency. So now it's your turn to experience the same transformation. So we're gonna kick this off by guiding you through a step-by-step process on actually creating the AI assistant's prompt. And then we're gonna run some demos, we're gonna run some tests for that prompt, and then we're gonna implement the appointment booking feature so the system is fully functional in answering questions as well as appointment booking. So then the system is fully functional in booking appointments and answering any questions somebody may have. My goal is to showcase the immense potential of these AI voice agents. And if this inspires you to take a leap, you can go ahead and book a call with me below, and I'd love to help you out. So jumping right into it, this right here is Retail AI. This is gonna be the main platform that I'm gonna be using to build the voice assistant. This just means it's where the central hub of all of the elements that make up an AI voice assistant sit. So we're going to be connecting the OpenAI models. So if we're using ChatGPT, we're going to be connecting that through here. If we're going to be using an 11 Labs voice model, which allows us to get that realistic human-like voice, we're going to be connecting that on this platform here. And we're going to connect all of these systems together. Twilio as well for connecting to obviously our phone system. We're going to connect all of these platforms together, and that's going to build our voice assistant. So in getting started, just get your account set up. You can use my link in the description if you'd like. Get your account set up and you're going to land on the main page. It looks just like this. This is just the agents hub where all of the agents are sitting. I've got a few in here now, and all I'm going to do is click on create an agent. And I'm going to go to the top here and click on single prompt agent. So this is going to be building an agent using a prompt. If you aren't familiar with prompting or prompt engineering, essentially this is providing a set of instructions for the assistant, the AI, to understand, to match its persona to understand what the objective of its purpose is. And we can do that all through the prompt. And it's purely just typing text. We're just talking to it. We're not coding anything. We're not doing any type of configurations. There's some configurations in the settings for the voice, but for the most part, we're just telling it what to do. So we're just saying, you are an assistant for the dental company. You are an AI receptionist, you are to book appointments, you are to answer questions, and we're gonna do that all through here. So the first thing that I like to do in building these assistants and getting started in sort of phase one is just going ahead and copying and pasting a prompt template. It's a very basic prompt template that looks just like this. And this covers the main elements of a prompt. So this has got the role, the task, specifics, context, what the business does, as well as some notes. And we'll go through exactly what all that means. And I'll fill this out exactly for essentially an AI dental receptionist. So a receptionist that answers questions about who knows what, different types of services that are offered, opening hours, things like that, as well as booking appointments. So if they've got a particular need to book an appointment, whether that's an emergency or not, we can also have that all included within this assistant. So to get started, I'll build out the role. So the role in this case is just shaping the assistant's personality. So this is purely talking about the assistant and its role as a receptionist at the dental clinic. So we're gonna say, you are John, you are a AI digital receptionist at Big Dental. So you are John, you are an AI digital receptionist at Big Dental. Your role is to help customers with any of their questions and help book them into their appointment. So all up, you are John, you're an AI digital receptionist at Big Dental. Your role is to help customers with any of their questions and help book them into their appointments. So really basic, just underlying, this is your role. You are an AI digital receptionist for a dental clinic. It's called Big Dental. Your name's John, just to really get the plain basic stuff out the way, just throw it in the top there, and that should have enough context to get started with. For the task, we've kind of already gone through that in the role a little bit there with the answering questions and booking appointments, but we can go into a little bit more detail and just give it a good sense as to what that actually means. So we could start off by saying your task is to help the customers with any questions they may have. Please use the information provided to answer their questions. Your other task is to book appointments for customers who request them. We need to help them with the earliest times and schedule them And then we've also got specifics. In this case, I might actually remove specifics just because the goal and the objective here is to book appointments and answer questions. Pretty basic for these voice assistants. We can go a lot more complex than this and run more complex functions that require multiple steps if we need to capture multiple questions and send that in a request that may require the specifics tab, where there's obviously a lot more to it. For the task, because it's so basic, we can just throw it in the task and say, you always answer some questions, book some appointments, and that's really it. And that's achieving the objective that we want. So we're just going to delete the specifics area and we're just going to run with task. That should be enough. And if not, we can obviously change this later on. Like I said, I'm going to be testing this as well. I'm going to run some first calls. I'm not going to test it at all. We're going to see how it sounds. And we're going to make some adjustments to make it better and better. So for context, this is really just giving it some more understanding as to the company that's working for, the goal as in what the company does, what the services it offers, all the context behind this. So when it's got people calling in and they mention the name of the company, they mention services that the company offers, it needs to have an understanding what that even means. And we're going to be able to do that by throwing in some context for the business. So I've just gone to ChatGPT and I've simply just said, generate a mock summary for a fake dental clinic called the Big Dental Clinic. And this is what it's given us. So the Big Dental is a state-of-the-art dental facility offering comprehensive oral care services, blah, blah, blah. It's essentially just what you would put for company description. So it's got a good understanding that it does general dentistry, orthodontics, whatever. It's got all that information there. It's known for its skilled team of professionals. So now you start to throw in some other aspects to that as well. It's going to be able to start to use these as objections. Obviously, you can showcase that it's a skilled team of professionals. You can put in more information as to the actual reviews. You can put in information towards the actual dentists that work there and the credibility of it. And it's going to be able to use that in the calls that it's making, whether that's a trusted choice for long-term health management, things like that. This is where we want to throw in all that information, and it's got that information in the back end. So if it ever needs to use it, it can. So it's just gone ahead and thrown in a bunch of different services, whether that's checkups, cleanings, fillings, whatever. It's just thrown that all into that paragraph there. And then once again, it's just giving it more context as to all of the services that are provided, giving the AI more context as to why somebody might be calling in for something, giving it just more context. And also, if we want to start to do the emergency detection, this is going to be pretty critical because we need to understand the difference between a regular checkup, a regular service versus something that is more of an emergency situation. And we can do that by just giving it more context as to what could be classified as an emergency versus more of a casual type of thing for this particular clinic. So once we've got that set up, it's pretty much done for this first phase. Now, obviously, this is nowhere near a completed product. You're going to have to do a lot of testing to get this thing to be refined. As we start to integrate the booking appointments and the answering of questions, we really want to make sure that it's going to be answering the right questions, especially in this case where it's providing dental advice. Obviously you can shape it if you don't want it to provide dental advice and you want it to just provide advice about the services that are offered. That might be more compliant with HIPAA compliance and things like that. We can just shape it to do that. And that's one of the things to do with prompt engineering. So just shaping the prompt to be slightly worded different, slightly structured different, to get different responses. And this is all influenced by the AI model. So we're currently using GPT-4o, which is one of the latest, cheaper, but still quite advanced models. And we're using this because it's also quicker as well. So we're going to use GPT-4, which is a more advanced model, although that is more expensive and it is slower. So there are some benefits and disadvantages of different AI models. If you would like to see a video, maybe comparing these AI models to see which one's better for voice assistants, definitely let me know in the comments. For the most part, I am using GPT-4o. So now I'm going to go ahead and set up the appointment booking function. And this is actually really simple to do here on the retail platform. They've actually got a dedicated function built in for booking appointments, which is really helpful, really easy to get this going. So if we go over to the functions tab, sort of in the middle of the page here, maybe a little bit off to the right, what you'll see is the functions tab. It just says enable your agent with the capabilities such as calendar booking, call termination, etc. So this is really running any request for automations. So if you've watched previous videos with functions, this is where we connect it to a webhook, and that webhook runs a function on Zapier, on Make.com, does any of that. We've actually got some built-in automations already. So what we're going to be doing is booking on the calendar. So we can just click here and we're automatically going to get given a filled out function for booking appointments into Google Calendar. So right here, the name is book appointment. Description is when users ask to book appointment, book it on the calendar. So we'll keep it there. That should be good for now. But once again, this is an aspect of prompt engineering. This is included in the prompt. So this is not just a random description. This is used for detecting when to run the appointment function. So if we do want to have it run at different times, after hours, business hours, we want to have it conditionally ran based on a set of criteria. We obviously need to prompt this much more than it is right now. But once again, just showing you the basics as to how to build these systems and how to connect everything together. So once you've got this going, essentially we need to go to cal.com. So cal.com is really the intermediary that we're going to be using to simply connect to Google Calendar. Now, the APIs for Google Calendar are just not the best for running these types of things reliably. Using something like cal.com just makes it a lot easier, especially when booking appointments and having particular appointment slots. We'll just use it cal.com. It's also free. So cal.com doesn't cost anything for their free plan, and it is pretty good just for single projects. Obviously, if you've got more complex calendar aspects, you might have to look through the plans and what's required. But for simply booking appointments, cal.com will work. So to get our API keys, which is what's required for connecting cal.com to retail, we just need to go over to a cal.com account. So go ahead and sign up. Like I said, it is free. You can use a Google account to sign up for it. It will connect to calendar automatically. So make sure to sign up there. Once you've created your account, it's automatically going to create a set of events, just the calendar bookings, sort of appointments that we're going to be scheduling. So if you want to have a 30-minute appointment with the dentist, I can go through and have it go through my 30-minute meeting event that I've got. Obviously, if you want to have them book 1-hour appointments, you will have to go through and create a new event, and you can just set that to 60 minutes. This is also something you can use for manually scheduling appointments. So we can actually send a link to this event and somebody can manually fill that out. So if you would like to make this more advanced, we could connect this to a text or SMS system, and we could just send them a link over text as a sort of backup method, which we have used in conjunction with the live method. And that's just a backup for maybe something goes wrong, appointment doesn't get booked, call hangs up, we can just send them a link. And so there's a few different ways we can go about it. But just to cover the basics, once you've got your account going, we'll just go down to the settings in the bottom left. Once we're in the settings, we can simply go over to API keys and we'll land right here. All we need to do is click on add, give it a name right here. So we can just name this key, whatever you want. It doesn't matter. It's just for your own assistance. It's just for your own help. And then we've just set it to never expires unless you want to have an expiry date, although it's just more convenient to set it to never expires. So once you've created your key, it's just going to look like this. You'll have an API key created successfully. Make sure to copy it. Once you copy it, you won't be able to view it again like it says right here. So just make sure, copy that and save it for later. Go back to retail and paste it in the API key section right here. And now your account is essentially connected. It's got access to everything it needs. All we need to do now is just go back to our events page where we had the 3 different events, and we just need to select one that we actually want to use. So in this case, I'll just use the 30-minute meeting. Click on this and we're going to get a meeting ID. So if you actually go up into the URL, you might not be able to see it on my screen, but I've actually got a URL that provides exactly the key for it. You can also just copy the event. So if I just go up to my URL, you'll just see a number at the top, and that's essentially the event ID. So just copy that number from the top of the URL, paste that in here, and that's the event type ID. Make sure the time zone is whatever you want it to be. Might just set it to Los Angeles time, and we'll just hit save. Now, before we start testing the system, I'm also going to go ahead and throw in a different function for checking calendar availability. So if somebody comes through and wants to book a time, but that time has already been taken, it's going to actually recommend a few times that are closer to that. So if there's a time right after that is available, rather than just saying, sorry, that time's taken, and not providing any context as to when they can book next. Essentially, we can just say you can book in another 30 minutes and that will be perfectly fine. So it's essentially the same process. Put your API key in and put your event type in. This description right here should be good enough for checking calendar availability for this. And this is going to integrate directly into our system. So once you've got both functions set up, we can just go ahead and test it and see if this actually does anything just by clicking on the test your agent. Hey, you'd like to book an appointment for tomorrow, just like a regular checkup?
Sure, I can help you with that. Could you please provide me with your name, email, and the time you'd prefer for your appointment tomorrow?
Yeah, my name is Brendan, and my email is brendanj@gmail.com.
Thanks, Brendan. What time works best for you tomorrow for your regular checkup?
Tomorrow at 4 p.m. should work.
Your appointment for a regular checkup has been scheduled for tomorrow at 4 p.m. Your appointment for a regular checkup has been successfully booked for tomorrow at 4 p.m. If you need any further assistance, feel free to let me know.
So as you can see there, it went ahead and entered all my questions. It was able to ask for a name and email, which we didn't even prompt in, which we would want to prompt in for to make it more accurate and more seamless for actually capturing that information. And we would want to actually throw in some prompt engineering for confirming the email and the name. So obviously when we said the name and the email, we do want to make sure that it captures it every time. And so we would just ask to spell out the name, spell out the email, and that way we would capture it a lot more accurately over time and increase the accuracy rates. But for the purpose of this, we were able to just tell it exactly what our information was. It took that and ran the appointment booking. So we did ask it to book us for tomorrow at 4 p.m. We can see here that the cal.com event has popped up. You'll see that the time isn't exactly 4 p.m. for tomorrow, and that's because this is actually displaying for a different time zone. So I booked in for the LA time zone. I'm not in LA, I'm actually in Australia. So this is the Australian time zone. So this Wednesday, the 4th of December at 11 a.m. is going to be 4 p.m. in LA. So that's why there's a difference there. But that has booked in for the exact correct time. And essentially that is it. We were able to book an appointment directly into Google Calendar. That will throw the event right onto my calendar and it's done. I'll also now show you the check calendar availability. So we'll just give it a quick test call and just ask it to tell us some available times. But for the most part, it's working great. Hey, could you tell me some of your earliest available times for today?
Let me check our earliest available times for today. Our earliest available times for today are from 2 p.m. to 6:30 p.m., from 7:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. Let me know which time works best for you.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. So you can see there that already went ahead and ran that function just as we requested it. It pulled through a series of times that we were available for taking that call, and that worked right away. So pretty simple to get those both functions up and running. Doesn't require any external tools like Make or Zapier. It's all built into Retell, so we can just run the appointment booking by setting up these API keys, and then it's ready to go. We can start to run appointments and it works great. So I hope that gave you some more insights into building these agents and how to build them and how we do build them from both the function side of things as well as the prompt engineering side of things. Now, obviously this isn't a complete build. This is nowhere near a complete build. We run weeks and weeks of testing to get these systems up and running at an accurate rate and running obviously so that there's no errors. So there's exactly having said what we wanted to and increasing that accuracy rate. But this is a really good start for understanding how to actually build these systems, how they're actually built in the first place, and how to get started in doing so. If you did want to watch a more in-depth 2-hour tutorial, I do have this sort of masterclass video right here that tells you everything you need to know about building these agents. And if you're a business owner looking at these AI voice agents and thinking that it might be a good idea to get one of these systems integrated into your business, definitely don't hesitate to schedule a call with me below and we can discuss some of the different options that we can have for you.